keep muted. I think that that means that then there will be no worries on the level of privacy. And would you also please, I repeat, use the chat to communicate from now on, because there's 54 people with us right now, and we've got to make sure the organization is fairly tight. Okay, now the other thing to remind you of is the donations, please. This is a bit of a fundraising exercise. So go back to the emails that were originally sent to you after all this is over, and maybe forward them on to other people and ensure that we get just a few donations. What we're going to do is this. Mohamed and the therapy team from PTC UK are going to give a kind of an overview, a background to what it means to be a child living in Gaza. We're going to keep quite strictly focused on that. We're not really talking about adults, we're talking about children. After that introduction, if you like, we're going to hear from Fedaa Ledawi, who is the focusing specialist inside Gaza, and she will give a short presentation. We will then hear from a member of the Friday of Joy team, Fedaa Ledawi, who is the storyteller, the hakawati. He is, I think, a fascinating part of that team, because he serves a function for not only being part of the entertainment, but for, in some sense, carrying the message of Palestinian culture through to the next generation, through the stories. So I think he could be quite an interesting one for you to question. The next person who will speak will be a teacher from the school where our team work. She's a teacher in special needs, and she will tell us about education. Right at the end, the climax, the best part, we're going to hear from some children. I think that's right, Mohamed. Yeah. We've got some children in Gaza who will give us just short messages, whatever they are. I hope we're going to hear from a few children in this country as well, who maybe will ask some questions, but the floor will be theirs at the end. So that is how we're starting. As I say, any communication from now on, please put in the chat. Could you switch off your videos so that we get, as it were, maximum clearance for whatever electronics are going on here? Okay, a little bit of background. This may seem a little bit sort of basic, you may already know it, but it's important to remember. Sorry, I'm going to go back again. Could we have, sorry, Lorna and Colin, could we have the video off, please? Sorry about that. Beginning to sound like a school teacher, it's awful. Okay. See, I'm afraid this is why it was working before, it's not working now. Okay, I'm going to go back and I'll take you through it in this way. You may not be able to see this very clearly, but there you can see a map of Gaza, and what you've got there is about sort of 365 square kilometers of land, one side of it beside the sea, and all the rest of it surrounded completely. And people are unable to leave. You've got 2 million people there, half of them children. And what you've got to remember is that a 12-year-old today has never experienced a full day's electricity, so they get used to a routine dictated by scarcity. On top of that, they have had to experience 4 terrible invasions, the worst of which was in 2014, where there was extensive bombing. You can see that here. And in this particular picture, if you can see it, you've got an activity run by the Friday of Joy team, where in a ceasefire, they took the children out in order to get them moving. I think this is called shaking the trauma, and people debate about how to apply this method, but certainly Friday of Joy have been using it, and they believe it to be effective. Get the children out there, get them physically moving about so that they are unfrozen, as it were, from their state of panic and fear. So we've got that, but then we've got the youngster looking maybe at particularly their older brothers. There's at least 69% youth unemployment. Think about the despair and bad... excuse me. Okay, Fedaa, welcome. Think about the despair and the bad temper that produces inside the family. On top of that, do remember, of course, the, as I said, the poverty, the lack of resources. 7% of the water is undrinkable, and buildings cannot get repaired because of this fear of what they call, totally artificial fear of what they call dual use material coming into Gaza. The intensification of the siege since 2014 is also the responsibility of Egypt. Never forget Egypt in this and how far it has betrayed the Palestinian people, and this is well known. The panic to leave, the apathy and despair is something maybe we will hear about in some of the talks. And I'm just going to finish by looking at 2 pictures. This is from our own collection, the Palestine Trauma Center collection. Just look at the left-hand side of that picture, and you can see that the ragged children, if you like, looking into a picture which has some color in it. In their world, there is no color, but in the dream world, where you've got a tree, a dove, and a peaceful family, they are separated, as you can see, the 2 children on the left, from that dream vision by barbed wire. But there's also barbed wire on the other side. And in the background, you can see the image, the faraway aspiration, if you like, of Al-Aqsa, of reaching Jerusalem, of being able to go there. And so the children are very tied up with the concerns of the adults, as well as their own dreams of having, quote, a normal family life. And the final picture, before I move on to the team, if I can get to it, is, I can't, I'm afraid it's not operating at the moment. Doesn't matter, there we go. Is this. Very eloquent, actually, and it tells us something. And oddly enough, it gives us some sort of idea of what we could do to make things better. There is a poor child who is having to sell things in the street. It looks like items of food. And he's looking at children who are going to school. And his grief comes from the fact that he's unable to be educated. Education is enormously important for people inside Gaza. It has become almost a symbol of resistance. And then I know it certainly was for you, Mohamed, and that is maybe a topic we can pick up later. So there we are. Now, if we go back to, we're looking at Fedaa at the moment. Hello, Fedaa. and
الو
مرحبا، اهلا وسهلا فيكم.
مرحبا. كيف الحال؟
الحمد لله تمام دكتور.
Now we've jumped a little bit, but Mohamed, if it's okay with you, since we're with Fedaa at the moment, I don't know how we got there, but we've got Fedaa. Let's talk to him first, and then we'll talk to Gaza. Is that all right? And then I'll come back to the team. I know things are a bit out of order, but I think we can manage that. Now, could you ask Fedaa about his work as a storyteller with Friday of Joy, and about the stories that he tells?
مرحبا فداء،
مش مقطع الصوت.
كيف الحال؟
مرحبا دكتور.
إن شاء الله بخير.
كان الصوت بقطع شوي عشان هيك ما كنتش سامع.
سمعني أنت؟
We must say hello to his daughter as well.
ليان كيف الحال ليان؟
دكتور.
فداء، احنا طبعا بنرحب فيك انت وليان، ونشكركم على كل شيء الصحيح، يعني فخورين بيكم. حابين اليوم نسمع منك انت وفداء يعني عن تجربتك كحكواتي. We want to hear from you about the storytellers and how you develop it, and especially what kind of story you use، ايش نوع القصص اللي بتستخدمها، and what is their importance, and especially for like the outbreak of the coronavirus in Gaza at the moment. إذا أنت بتقدر تحدثنا يعني نقطة. أول شيء خلينا تحكي لنا عن فكرة الحكواتي. How the hakawati storytellers start and what that means to you. إيش بتعني لك؟ تفضل.
يعطيكم العافية. أنا فداء اللداوي من فلسطين غزة، مخيم النصيرات طبعا، ومعي ليان بنتي بترحب فيكم كمان، وأنا كثير من أنا معكم اليوم. شكرا كثير لكم. طبعا احنا طالعين من كان عندنا إصابة كورونا في البيت اللي هي زوجتي. امبارح كان يوم الخميس كان آخر يوم لنا طلعنا من هذه المرض الفيروس. كان 14 يوم لنا محجورين في البيت. الآن بدي أحكي عن الحكواتي. أنا كحكواتي بديت طبعا أنا شغلي مع الأطفال من أكثر من 20 سنة. كنت أشتغل منشط، بعشق الشغل مع الأطفال. كنت اليوم اللي ما برسم فيه بسمة على وجه طفل بكون إشي مش بسيط عندي في اليوم هذا. فأنا بحب الحكواتي، بحب أحكي قصص. زمان كانت أمي تحكي لي قصص في البيت، كانت تحكي لي قصة جبينة، كانت تحكي لي القصص القديمة الحلوة اللي كنا نحبها. حبيت موضوع الحكواتي، فصرت أبحث على الإنترنت، أبحث من خلال الكتب والمطالعة. فمن خلال الكتب والمطالعة والإنترنت حبيت إن أنا أفوت في هذا المجال الحكواتي، وبدأت بالقصص عن طريق مبادرة جمعة فرح من 3 سنوات تقريبا. بديت أنا أفوز بفقرة حكواتي في المبادرة في الشارع بين الأطفال. كان يحضر تقريبا أكثر من 300 أو 400 طفل كانوا يحضروا فقرة الحكواتي. كنت أحكي لهم قصص حلوة وجميلة. من القصص اللي كنت أحكيها كانت قصة قصة العنزية أم القرون الذهبية، وكنت أحكي لهم قصة الفطيرة الهاربة. كنت أحكي لهم قصص لها علاقة بالعونة والمشاركة والحب، كيف إحنا نشارك بعض، كيف إحنا نحب بعض، كيف إحنا ممكن نخدم مجتمعنا. ممكن كمان كنت أحكي لهم قصص عن النظافة، أحكي لهم قصص عن سلوكيات، أعزز عندهم مفاهيم معينة من خلال القصص اللي كنت أرويها.
Okay.
إبراهيم.
Yes, I'm with you.
بدك ترجم ولا لا؟ لأن أنا عندي شوية سؤال بقحها، لكن إذا
لا السلام عليك.
بكمل حاب ترجم لنا الفقرة هاي اللي حكاها.
ما في مشكلة، جاهزين يا دكتور. Hello everyone, Fedaa speaking. At the beginning he told us he was infected with the COVID-19 and Thursday was the last day of the lockdown for his families. Fedaa from Gaza Strip, his passion for life is working with the children. He told us he wish he can draw a smile of face of the child. If he didn't do that on a day, he think his life is without a purpose. He told us he work with all area that the child loves: theater, dabka, drawing stories, making a puppet and prides. You can say a collection in what children love and make them happy. The hakawati is the idea that the children love, and I have gained the skills of storytelling through reading. Also, when I was a child, I loved the stories that my mom used to tell me. Used to tell me, and from this point, I start to learn the skills and art of telling stories for children. And through my work with the children, the hakawati program, I dressed like a storyteller, and I moved from neighborhood to another neighborhood. I found the kids loved everything new, so I was still the children of the camp stories in all the days of the camp. When I issue the hakawati in a vehicle or a mobile library is designed in a way that turns into a library, and I start activities with the children. I tell them the stories. During the corona pandemic, I made the initiative Windows of Joy, and I was telling the children stories through my window. I used a small speaker device, and I always doing other activities, and I play with them. Always I filmed al-hakawati. I tell to my daughter Layan stories, and then the stories are downloaded via social media sites on YouTube and Facebook, and all other activities came under the activities of the initiative of Jum'a Farah. Jum'a Farah is a part of Palestine Trauma Center, UK. The idea of hakawati is a beautiful idea we use to deliver positive thinking to the children. I wish in the future we can create a program called Haduta, roaming the streets and allies of the camp after the end of Corona pandemic. I imagine to have a mobile library belong with the stories for the children that separate a positive culture for the children.
That is very important. The delivery of positive thinking. That could be a slogan for us.
Fedaa used to give like this storytellers is his favorite storytellers, which we call in Arabic very old and very traditional, called al-hakawati, which when there is no technology, with no radio, no TV, so that's people used to come to like cafe and just hear from one person, and then she used to tell them the story. And Fedaa used to give for the children before the coronavirus pandemic in Gaza, about like every Friday as a part of the Friday of Joy for like 300, 400 children. And they love these stories from Fedaa. Okay, Fedaa. Fedaa ده بتحكي لنا عن تطور الحكواتي، وخاصة كيف استخدمتها مع في أثناء الكورونا فيروس. We want to hear from Fedaa how he developed the storytellers al-hakawati in Gaza, and especially to be more suitable for the coronavirus, and people they are in their houses, how they will hear these stories. So Fedaa can some things about this. تفضل.
في ظل جائحة كورونا طبعا عدم مخالطتنا بالأطفال بشكل مباشر، ما كناش نقدر نشتغل مع الأطفال وجها لوجه، فإحنا طلعنا بفكرة إنه إحنا نشتغل للأطفال. أنا أول شيء بديت من خلال شبابيك الفرح، كنت على الشباك أطلع للأطفال وأحكي لهم قصص، ونعمل شوية ألعاب وشوية أنشطة نفرغ للأطفال بطريقة كثير حلوة. كان الأطفال كثير ينبسطوا من خلال الحكواتي اللي كان يطلع لهم على الشباك، وهم الأطفال طبعا بعد ما ياخذوا احتياطات الأمان كانوا يجلسوا على الشباك ويسمعوا القصص الحلوة. من القصص اللي كنت أحكيها للأطفال كانت قصة الكمامة الطائرة. طبعا هاي القصة أنا ألفتها من الوضع اللي كان موجود، الناس كانت ترمي الكمامات على الأرض بالشارع. فكنت أنا حابب أوصل للأطفال صورة إنه إحنا لازم بعد ما نستخدم هاي الكمامة نرميها بسلة المهملات، ما نرميها على الأرض لأنه ممكن حدا ثاني ياخذها وينأذي فيها. هي كانت تقريبا فترة الكورونا. كنا كمان بعد ما خلصنا شريط الفرح اتجهنا لموضوع الإنترنت، صرنا نعمل فيديوهات لقصص مصورة. احنا نصور وأنا بأحكي القصة بنصورها وبننزلها على الإنترنت، والأطفال بتجاوبوا معنا من خلال الفيديو اللي احنا بننزله سواء على اليوتيوب او على الفيسبوك او على مواقع التواصل الاجتماعي اللي بننزل عليه.
Okay.
شكرا فداء. ابراهيم. So okay. Fedaa said about like the development of the hakawati through the pandemic. He used to like to record and to use and ask his daughter. You can see his daughter Layan to come as take part of the hakawati storytellers, and he could speak and record with very simple things to record the story. And then maybe Jabir, he's the coordinator of Friday of Joy. He used it and put it in the Facebook, and so that the kids they could look at it and they could interact with these stories by sending some what they learned. There's some questions at the end. Sometimes they give some prizes, some gift to the children. So they have like try to make more interaction between when they watch the story on the social media. So that's just they try to do their best to create interactive and nice and attractive atmosphere, which the children they can watch this story while they are in their houses because of the lockdown. So we receive a huge compliment and thanks from their parents. So even their parents, they enjoy watching these stories. And we have a channel, a YouTube channel. So it's not just social media. We put it straight away on the YouTube, and just to make more people, they could watch it. And because of the pandemic, and that's the benefit of that, not just the children in Gaza and their parents, they can watch these al-hakawati or storytellers, the people in the Arab world. So they are watching and following up, so they will benefit from that.
Can I just summarize that? Because the idea of a forum created on the internet for building stories through interaction between the storyteller and the children who are not just listening to the story, but contributing to it, sounds to me a very, very good exercise, which has come out of the issue of dealing with the problems presented by COVID. And can I just mention one other thing? Ibrahim, who has been doing some translation, is a project coordinator inside Gaza. And so I'd like to thank him for helping with the translations here. Now, we should move on, but I have one question which I would like from somebody saying, do the children have a favorite story? And maybe at the end of this session, Feda's daughter could reply to that. Maybe she could tell us, and maybe other children could tell us if they have got a favorite story. Now, is it all right, Mohamed, to move on to Gaza now?
Yeah, okay.
And Feda, shukran كثير Feda.
شكرا لكم كثير، وليان كمان حابة تشكركم.
شكرا.
شكرا.
ليان شكرا.
شكرا.
Now, Gada, focus coordinator inside Gaza, also, as you know, have Jerry Conway with us, and maybe Mary, I don't know, and they may wish to contribute a bit later. We'll see. Gada, yes.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah.
Okay. In the beginning, hello to everyone here. If we would like to talk about focusing with the children in Gaza Strip, we should mention our hero, our international trainer, who helped us to take these techniques and take it to Gaza Strip in order to help people and the children to gain resilience through our difficult situation in Gaza Strip. So we should mention our international trainer, who are Jerry Conway, Mary Jennings, Renee Buglers, and Dr. Mohamed Altawil. Okay. We will talk about focusing with the children in Gaza Strip. I would to start with what focusing means. Focusing is the process to paying attention to something we can feel in our body and that connected to something in our life. So focusing with the children is focusing leads a child to trust their understanding of life or situation experience through awareness of connection with their body sense and thoughts. So focusing is a process of a change which is different for everyone. It develops confidence, compassion, resiliency, and allows each to sparkle. Okay, we should to another. What focusing brought to children in Gaza Strip? More self-confidence, better care taking, and inner peace and aliveness. How that help children focusing to companion to find their own ways of supporting and to help them grow in wisdom and confidence appropriate to their age. Okay. To help them also to discover the safe or the calm place for them, to help them dealing with fears and reactive, the positive things of lights and resilience, which will be in to bring awareness into their body and to make contact with their inner body felt sense about something, about some problem, and to trust the truth and meaning in their body feelings, and to handle their problems better, to clear space inside by putting a problem outside or by putting feeling outside by drawing, painting with their bodily sense. And to be kind to themselves, to listen to their body sense in everyday life, and to understand their feelings, carries a story, and allow difficult, scary, angry feelings as well as more pleasant ones, such as joy and excitement, and to accept each other more. Okay. Next. In Gaza Strip, we help children to express their feelings through many activities, such as drawing, relaxation, movement, and many other activities. And this activity is called bus of feeling. In this activity, we let the child to guide us their own way of understanding feelings, to learn more ways for child to tell us how he understands the feelings, and to stay connection with himself. Okay. Okay, next. And this activity is focusing relaxation with the green branch, which is a symbol of lights in Gaza Strip, with a creative facilitator, my colleagues, Ala Hannawi. In this activity, we try to reflect or mirror, focus to mirror a child's feelings or ideas about the green branch, about flexibility in simple way, about their feelings and their ideas about some issues or some problems. So what children says about this activity is a symbolization about what they feel internal their body. Okay. Okay, next. And we do in Gaza Strip also we develop a wonderful activity called focusing relaxation with stethoscope, which with a stethoscope, which seek to help children to contact with their feelings, with their feelings and with their memories, using a stethoscope to discover their internal feeling. The internal feeling and to express their feeling and their ideas through this stethoscope. And in this, they gain that how to listen with empathy, compassion, and a certain distance to help them to stand strong and accept their own reaction. Okay. In this activity, we are helping them to sensing behind words and behavior. As I said, symbolization without focus on our meaning, but their meaning, also without interruption, to be with a positive or a negative feelings and try to deal with these feelings or ideas. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Gada. Can I just emphasize this point about symbolization? I remember Renee in one of the training sessions telling the children not how do you feel or draw how you feel, but saying draw the weather inside you. So they could draw storms or sunshine or something like that. So symbolization is very, very important as a device. I'd wondered, Jerry, if there was anything you wanted to ask or contribute to this part of the presentation. Are you there, Jerry?
Yes, let me unmute him.
Yeah.
There we are. Yes, no, I'm very impressed, continue to be impressed by the work you're doing, Khada. And the using the stethoscope is a new idea. Did you develop that in Gaza or did you pick that up in the Netherlands?
Say again, Jerry?
I wondered about the stethoscope exercise. Did you develop that in Gaza or did you pick it up in the Netherlands, Khada?
Please reply the question for me, Dr. Mohamed.
غادة بيسألك الأستاذ جيري إنه هذا الإكسرسايز التمرين اللي عملتيه هل طورتوه بغزة أو خلال جولتك في هولندا؟
احنا حكيت عن اكثر من تمرين. موضوع اللي هو اوكي the activity focusing with the stethoscope we developed it in Gaza Strip. Yes, we developed it in Gaza Strip. Yeah, it's such to help children to contact with their feelings and with their ideas. Yeah, in order in a simple way. To explain how we contact with our feelings. So we use a stethoscope to help them. Yeah.
Yes, I really like that idea. What we're finding is a lot of innovation in Gaza, that developing new ways of exploring feelings. The stethoscope's a good example, where the stethoscope provides a safe way of getting in touch with your feelings. So and we're now finding that people in Gaza are teaching us new exercises to try, because I've never tried that one. Yeah, so it's an excellent example, but it helps you, using the stethoscope helps you to approach the feeling with slowly, not to for it all to burst out at once. So it provides a bit of additional safety, and we have a number of exercises that have been used in Gaza to provide that kind of safe way of accessing feelings. Yes. No, thank you, Garda. I'm very impressed.
In fact, I think one of those is the trauma teddy.
Yes.
Garda, are you still using the teddy?
Yes, I mentioned such small ideas or small activities which we use in Gaza Strip.
Yeah.
But we also we use teddy bear activity in order to help them to deal with their feelings. Yeah, and it's such a special activity for us. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's really good. Any other questions for Garda from anybody? Please put them in the chat if you would like to ask something. That was a wonderful presentation, Garda. Thank you so much. Really brilliant. Thank you again, Ibrahim, for helping us out. We can move on now, unless there's something else. I'm just checking the chat to see. No, I think we can move on. Thank you, Garda, but stay with us, please. Mohamed, are we able to introduce the teacher from Nur al-Marifa?
بتشيك with أحمد. أحمد سمعنا؟ أحمد غراب.
PTC team, don't worry, I haven't forgotten about you.
Okay, no. Yes. أحمد أستاذة بثاني موجودة؟
صحيح معانا الآن.
طب يلا تمام، خليها تبدأ. نبدأ يعني بدنا نسمع منها عن التعليم في ظل الحصار، بس تركيز على الوضع الحالي في ظل الكورونا فيروس، وكيف تجربتها في التعليم. اوكي استاذة بثانة موجودة معنا أحمد؟
الآن راح أتأكد يا دكتور، كانت موجودة.
Just we are going to hear from the teacher and how that's the impact of the siege and the coronavirus pandemic on them in Gaza.
Good. And we can do that now, can we?
Yeah, we're just checking. She's live, and she's just we check if she's around.
That's good. Remember the importance of education. This school, Nur al-Marifa, is where our own therapy team are based. It is a school, I think, which really focuses on what we would call special needs. So there would be special educational units there. I think it does ordinary education as well. Is that right, Mohamed?
No, just the special education, I think.
Just the special education. Okay. But they're giving our team, this is called Nur al-Marifa. It's situated in the middle area of Gaza, Nuzirat, and we're very grateful to them, really, for giving us.
If it is not available, we could maybe ask one of the other teachers or supervisor of teachers who can tell us.
Well, if you would like to find out about that, what I'd like to do now is to move on to the PTC UK advice team. Is that a good idea?
Yeah.
And
good.
then we come back to the teacher, or shall we wait for the teacher?
Yeah, we'll find out about the teacher, so we will have,
So I'll go on to the team now.
Yeah.
Okay. Really, I just want to complete the picture of the support that is being given. Help the helpers is a very, very important principle. People who are in the front line dealing with trauma, traumatized people, themselves need support because of the anxiety which inevitably they will sort of experience while dealing with this problem and with these people. Now, the support team in the UK have Skype or Zoom meetings with the team in Gaza exactly for that purpose. And I'd like to just go, perhaps ask Gazina to start us off really, and maybe the others in the team, Belinda, Sarah, Gwyn, to contribute, to say what kind of things you've come across, learnt about in terms of children's welfare and the way you've contributed to that through your support. Is there anything you can say about that, Gazina? And if you could just take it over from there. Unmute yourself. Is Gazina there? I better just check. If not, I know Belinda's there. Belinda, could you unmute and start by just talking about the sessions and how you find those interactive sessions with Gaza? Belinda? Okay, not Belinda. I don't know why. I've just seen a message from her. No?
Oh, yes, now, sorry.
There you are.
You've allowed us to unmute. I think we were stuck.
Okay. Does that mean Gazina is...
Gazina, can you unmute now? Oh, how funny.
Well, perhaps Gwyn can join you and Sarah, but we'll see. Anyway, you kick off, Belinda.
We've been meeting with the team in Gaza for many years, actually, and it's just been amazing. Oh,
never mind, keep going.
And it's been amazing hearing about the work that they've been doing. I mean, it's always seemed so complex, and particularly, I suppose, for me, thinking that they are often going through similar things themselves as the families and the people that they're working with, which I always think is an extraordinary thing to have to be doing. And we've heard about lots of issues in the family, for the children, for the parents, all sorts of fears and anxieties, sort of mood changes, sort of violent episodes where people have felt so anxious and so angry about things and so frustrated that they take it out on each other. And we've learned, I suppose, about all the kind of the issues that are so important for them as a culture as well, which are different for us. So I think we've been on a big learning curve ourselves as well.
For example?
Well, so for example, I think there was a family I remember where the mother had several children with her husband, and her husband was killed in one of the wars, and his family immediately expected her to marry his brother, that she'd not wanted to do, and it seemed to us that it was such a huge thing to ask her, really, that she didn't have so much time to grieve for the loss of her own husband and the children's father, and she was expected to immediately marry her brother-in-law, that I think she found very difficult, and I don't think she got on very well with him. And we just sort of listening to what that was like for her and the effect that had on the children as well, who also weren't able to grieve for their father, but who were expected immediately to take on their uncle as their father.
Anybody else? Gazina, can we hear from you?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know why the unmuting didn't work. It said the host needed to give me permission, so I'm sorry for the delay. Yeah, I think Belinda covered a lot of ground of our discussions. What often also stands out for me is exchanging, I mean, us living in London or in metropolitan area of London, that we also exchange or have dialogues about different cultural encounters. So living in East London, I have quite an international caseload. So in a way, we are mutually widening each other's horizons by talking about doing clinical work with very different cultural backgrounds. And sometimes there is actually an overlapping. I mean, the story Belinda just shared, that the very same thing I have encountered with families that originally stem from Pakistan or India. And so the crossover cultural discussions we have, which are mutually quite enriching. And what I particularly like about our exchanges is that it is a mutually enriching experience and that it's not a one-way street. We are not supervising them and vice versa. We are really all on an eye level, enriching each other's work, because we all draw from a different pool of experiences we have in our clinical lives. And I think it's an absolutely unique experience to have, and one that I just relish a lot and hope to continue for many years, if possible.
Can I just emphasize your words, because they seem to me so important from a kind of social mental health point of view, which is the enriching experience of cross-cultural exchange, which we are we're missing it in this country. I mean, we're missing it, or people who are intensely nationalistic miss it. It really is the way we should be going, the enriching experience of cross-cultural exchange. So thank you for that. Anybody else from the team want to say anything?
I'd like to, if I can, David.
Cheers.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, it's been a huge privilege. Thank you to everybody in Gaza for joining this particularly. It's been a fantastic privilege to be part of this team. And if we're thinking particularly about children now, I so agree with Gesina's point about all the connections between the children that we work with in families. I'm a family therapist, and the issues for children in Gaza. And when I work with children in the UK who are suffering adversity, I pick up so many similar things, even though they're not, of course, quite the same as children in Gaza seem to communicate. You know, one is that children are the future. Everybody feels about their children that they are the future, and children need hopes and dreams about the future. And children have such rich, imaginative lives that those are always things that we want to connect to, and that the Gaza team, in all the things it does, is so brilliant at bringing out children's imagination. I just wanted to say one thing about resilience, because I think we all want to enhance children's resilience and children's sense of, you know, their own agency, so that they don't feel powerless and victimized. They are victims, of course, because all of this has victimized them. But I think when we talk about resilience, there's only a limit to the resilience we can expect of individual children and families, because they need systems that are resilient. So if UNRWA loses its funding, that is not a resilient system, and it's hard to be resilient in that setup. So I just wanted to say that, because I think that's something where everybody who's outside Gaza and cares about what's happening needs to pay attention to. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gwyn. And I hope in our small way, PTC UK is setting up a resilient system. I really do. So that is great. Anybody else from the team?
Yes, please. I would like.
Yeah.
Sarah. Just one thing I'd like to say about our links with the Gaza team, and that is that when we speak to them, we realize that they're also responsible for their own families. They're living the same lives as their clients. Many times they're having to suffer the ill effects of the siege and the difficulties with money and with the electricity and the food and the circumstances of their lives, so we're very well aware of their own difficulties at home. So when we're talking about their cases, but we also realize that they're having to deal with many of the same problems as their clients. So their children are suffering in the same way.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sarah. That's great. Now, can I go back to Mohamed and see if we have the teacher from Marifa? Ah,
oh, look,
somebody else.
She's ready.
Hello.
Hello.
Mahaba. Now, any teacher for us or
معانا انت بثينة بثينة Ahmed, or if Bhutan is not there, I would maybe ask Ahmed Thabit if he's around, because he's supervisor on teacher.
Yeah.
And if he can tell us how is the impact on...
Yeah, Mohamed.
Ahmed, yes, thank you.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
As you know, during coronavirus, all school closed, and the education provide for kids or students through indirect, remotely learning, and we face a lot of challenges about that. It changed the system because the corona issues. The main challenges about the resources of the family, and exactly poor family, no capacity about the internet access, issues about the infrastructure, about the issues for this system. And another challenges about the issues about the closures of the students, and the difficulty of stay student at home, and the role of family to deal with the kids and learning the kids. And this is it's not easy task for the family. And still now there is all school closed, and still dealing with this issues during the remotely learning. That's the situation now through still this period.
Can I just mention that somebody asked about internet connections and what and whether people have iPads. Now, from what I have heard, nearly every home has a mobile phone, and it's on a mobile phone that connections are usually made. Is that right?
Yes. They use a mobile, and there is a card paid by any places by 1 shekel. They can get access from Wi-Fi access to use that daily. And some of the people have access from the internet monthly and access that.
Okay, thank you. How bad is COVID at the moment, as far as you know?
Still now, like Friday and Saturday, close all Gaza. This is happened 6 months ago, 6 weeks ago. Every Friday and Saturday close, and still now there is no. We already control about the no increased number of cases of corona, but still we face a lot of challenges in the community about the issues of food, about the issues of services that still faces challenges.
Yeah. Anybody got a question for Ahmed? You know, it could be a general question or specifically about education. Just put something in the chat if you want to either speak or have me read it out. Okay.
David?
Yes, Ahmed, go on.
I want to reply about the supporting of BTC UK about the helping the helper.
Yeah,
I want to reflect about that. So thank you for all team in BTC UK and any support of our colleague and friends. I mentioned and reply that we already here facing the same issues. We already support the people and we already face the same condition and the same issues. And we here feel a lot of feeling like angry, frustrated, a lot of this feeling coming from us as a professional here in Gaza. And through this link from the BTC UK, we already see the window. We can speak about this feeling. And thank you for all support in this issues.
Well, thank you, Ahmed. And I hope we have many Talk to Gazas in the future and that you can decide what we talk about. Everybody in Gaza that you're connected with, you can organize your own Talk to Gaza with us one day. I think that would be great. Can I just move on from there to, because we've almost used up our hour, because I just want to see how we can organize some children to send us a few messages. Now, what shall we do, Mohamed?
Yeah, we'll go around and check with us the children, the lovely, beautiful children, and if they want to say any messages and let their voice be heard. So we'll start and see if anyone has children around them, they can bring them in the video, and they can and they can put their hand up on the chat to give them maybe just very briefly, just one sentence, one word, what they want to say. And
maybe Fedaa's daughter.
Yeah, Fedaa, are you there? And maybe Ibrahim, if they can speak English, that's good. If not, Ibrahim, are you there also? You can translate? Or
yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. My daughter can start if you want.
Your daughter, you start with your daughter. So Ibrahim.
يلا حياة.
أهلا وسهلا. إيش اسمها ولا تقول اسمها تعرف عن نفسها.
يلا احكي حياة، اعملي تيست، احكي. ايش اسمك؟
حياة.
أهلا وسهلا حياة.
يلا احكي.
ايش حابة تحكي للناس اللي بيسمعوك برا في العالم في اوروبا؟
يلا.
حابة احكي لهم
يلا
تعريفا على اسمي وعلى
يلا احكي لك.
انا حياة، عمري 9 سنوات، انا من قطاع غزة، معي تشوه في القلب، أشعر بالحزن عندما أسمع والدي يتحدث عن سهولة طفولتي، حيث أنه ولد في السعودية ودائما ما يتحدث كيف كان يلعب ويلهو بأمان مقارنة طفولتنا. كأطفال في قطاع غزة نواجه صعوبات كبيرة تبدأ بانقطاع الكهرباء والمياه الملوث والطعام الغير صحي، والأسوأ من ذلك أن نصحى من النوم على أصوات الصواريخ. في النهاية أتمنى أن نعيش طفولتنا كما نحن مثل أي طفل في العالم. خلصت.
شكرا حياة. إبراهيم، حياة بنتك؟
صحيح.
أهلا، الله يخلي لك إياها. طيب أنا أترجم عشان يمكن حياة 9 years old.
لا أنا جاهز.
يعني عشان يمكن يكونش الأمور كذا. حياة 9 years old and Ibrahim's daughter, and she has a problem in her heart and she feels like fear, and she also, like as other children in Gaza, facing a huge difficulties, and such as lack of electricity, polluted water, and lack not the food, and also the worst of that, she said in her words, is to, as a child, to hear constantly the noise and of the rockets and the bombing in Gaza for a long time, and that's really the bad things, and that's what she said. شكرا يا حياة.
شكرا.
إنه يعني we wish things improved and in whole Palestine, especially also in Gaza. في أطفال تانيين, we will take the messages from the children and then we'll maybe comment if there's anything from the audience, but let's just gather the messages from the children. Okay, Qusay, ready? Anything, what is your message too? So Qusay, he's here. How old are you? 14. Good. So he came from Gaza in like 2008, and now he's been here about 12 years. And we want to hear from her. He was in Gaza about like 1 year. He can't tell exactly like what looks like in Gaza, but he can now witness once he now in the UK. English. English. قرب. different. قرب شوي كمان. قرب كمان. يلا احكي يلا بسرعة.
Hello, my name is Qusay and I'm 14 years old. And when I was in Gaza, I regularly see my family and friends, but here I don't see it in my friends and family because they're back in Gaza. So it's quite hard to keep in touch because sometimes their internet cuts out and it's hard to keep communication with them. So it's very hard to talk to them.
What is your message to the world as you are witnessing the dilemma and the catastrophe of the situation in Gaza? What is your message as a child coming from Gaza and he's now living here in the peaceful, safe atmosphere?
I feel that it's very hard for the children of Gaza to embrace life because there's not many opportunities there, and it's very hard to fulfill your dreams there, and it's very disappointing to see what's happening in Gaza, and hopefully it can change in the years to come.
Okay. Shukran. Thank you.
Shukran.
Okay. Saeed. Saeed Kahlout. Ready? Suwar is ready? Not you, Suwar. There's another Suwar. Okay. Is any other children around with their parents? They want to share their messages? Please let us know. Lian, ما سمعناش من Lian. Fedaa, are you there? Just a second. You can now unmute. فداء. فداء. أحمد تقدر تسوي unmute للكل؟ مين عندك غادة؟ أي حدا عنده أحد عشان الوقت يا جماعة حابب يعني يحكي؟ سعيد، غادة.
أنا طبعا يسعد أوقاتكم.
مين معنا؟ أول شيء عرفوا عن نفسكم عشان نعرف، والطفل اللي بيحكي يعني نعرف برضه عمره.
معك تمام، معك الأستاذة بثينة، مربية مدرسة غزة فلسطين.
أهلا وسهلا. تفضل يا أستاذة.
راح نحكي إن شاء الله عن أثر تمام راح نحكي عن أثر الحصار وفيروس كورونا على الأطفال وعلى تعليمهم طبعا، وإيش العوائق اللي واجهت الأطفال أثناء جائحة كورونا.
بس يا ريت باختصار عشان احنا لا الوقت ضيق. تفضل.
تمام احنا طبعا بنعرف بانه كثير من بلدان العالم وطلابهم توقفوا فجأة عن تواجدهم في مقاعد دراسة خاصة في قطاع غزة هنا، فاتجهوا طبعا للتعليم الإلكتروني والتعليم عن بعد. هذا بحد ذاته أثر كثير على الطلاب وعلى ذويهم وعلى الأعباء اللي صارت على كاهلهم بوجود هذا التعليم الإلكتروني. فطبعا هذا أثر بالسلب على سلوكيات بعض الأطفال وعلى وجود بعض المشاكل السلوكية زي العنف والنشاط أو الفرط النشاط الزائد عند الأطفال، نتيجة لقضائهم مدة أطول في البيت ولوجودهم مدة أكبر قدام وأمام شاشة الحاسوب أو الجوال. فإحنا طبعا واجهنا كثير من الطلاب بوجود بعض الأمور اللي أثرت عليهم على الأمور النفسية، زي قضايا التنمر، قضية اللي هو عدم استيعاب بعض الأطفال للواقع اللي صار فجأة لكثير من الطلاب. طب أنا طبعا دوري كمعلمة أو كمدرسة في المدرسة بأنه أنا القدوة الأولى لهدول الأطفال أو لهدول الطلاب، أحاول أنه أنا أستوعبهم قدر الإمكان، وأحاول أن أنا أتفهم اللي هو الأمر الطارئ اللي صار، أحاول أنه أنا أخليهم يخرجوا عن هذا الإطار قدر الإمكان بوجود بعض الأساليب أو بعض الطرق اللي أنا حتبعها معهم. تمام. طبعا هذا باختلاف بعض المراحل العمرية، يعني سواء مرحلة الطفولة المبكرة أو مرحلة الطفولة المتوسطة أو المتأخرة.
تمام. احنا حنسمع الشق الثاني إذا في عندك اليوم أطفالك حابين يشاركوا، يعني لأنه الآن احنا يعني أستاذ إبراهيم حابب تترجم اللي حكت الأستاذة بثينة.
Yes, teacher Buthaina talk about how the learning in school cut off suddenly, so all students go to the online learning, and how the online learning affect negatively, which cause a lot of violence, or also the extra activities in the house. So she told us as the teachers, they are playing very important role in how they deal with the child, as they are a role model for the students. This task fall under many aspects that must be taken into account from educational and psychological aspects as well. They find out that many children have the problem, and the students in different stage of study have some reaction. They are affected by their teacher and the adults around them.
شكرا. ثانك يو أستاذ إبراهيم. نسمع من ليان. حنرجع لك أستاذ بثينة إذا في عندك أطفال الآن، يعني الفقرة هذه حنخصصها للأطفال كمان. شكرا لك، يعني لأنه كمان الأستاذ أحمد ثابت غطى شوي في غيابك على الموضوع وحكى عن موضوع الإديوكيشن وتأثير الحصار والكورونا فيروس على ليان. Lian is the star of the storytellers, and she appeared in many of the videos, and she always with us.
Okay. What has happened?
I don't know who's.
Something's gone wrong here.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
We're back. Okay. We're going to have to move towards a finish. I want to, that was a teacher's viewpoint we have just heard, which is very important. But we're in the middle of listening to the children at the moment.
Yes.
Somebody, is Feda's daughter able to talk to her?
Yeah, تفضل. ليان, تفضل يا ليان.
Okay, and everybody else mute, please, and switch off videos. Thank you.
Videos are switchen.
Okay. We're getting a little bit of a technical, bit of technical confusion at the moment.
Yeah, ليان جاهزة. سعيد, أستاذ سعيد, سوار جاهزة. Okay.
I thought I saw Feda for the moment, but maybe not. We're going to have to end fairly soon, I think, Mohamed.
Yeah.
Here is Suwar, and she wants to share you.
Oh, good.
And to hear her voice. Okay.
تفضل سوار.
مرحبا، أنا اسمي سوار، أشكركم على هذه الندوة. نحن مدينون لكم بهذه المشاعر. رسالتي كطفلة فلسطينية أعيش في ظروف صعبة جدا. هناك أطفال كثيرون في بلدي غزة حرقوا من شمعة بسبب انقطاع الكهرباء، ونحن نعاني من انقطاع الكهرباء بشكل دائم، ونحن نعاني أيضا من القصف. أنا أعيش حياة غير كريمة، ونحن أيضا نعاني من سماع أصوات القصف المخيفة ونستيقظ عليها في الليل.
شكرا ممتاز. إبراهيم حاب تترجم؟ ولا أستاذ سعيد حاب تترجم ولا ترجم أنا؟ طيب سوار، قديش عمرك يا سوار؟ سوار؟ Okay, Suwar. Okay. Suwar, I think 13 years old.
بسألك قديش عمرك؟
12. Okay, Suwar, 12 years old, and she, as a child, she said she's been deprived from her normal childhood, and there's many children in Gaza suffered a lot. Some of them died because of the lack of the electricity. Some of them, there's some burn because they use the candle and they burn their houses. And also they are suffer a lot from the constant shelling and bombing. So hopefully this will be changed. So that's her message. Now we move to Leanne. Leanne, ready? Leanne, Fedaa daughters. ready جاهزة يا ليان؟ تفضل.
جاهزة.
يلا.
احكي اسمك وعمرك وايش حابة، ايش رسالتك تحب تحكيها. ليان، عمرك؟ قديش عمرك؟ سمعنا يا ليان؟
Unmute.
ايوه.
مرحبا، أنا ليان من غزة.
كم عمرك؟
عمري 9 سنوات.
اوكي، ايش رسالتك للناس اللي بيسمعوك؟
عن جائحة كورونا، احنا انحجرنا 14 يوم في البيت واحنا ماخذين احتياطاتنا.
طيب ايش حابة تقولي للناس اللي بيسمعوك الان؟ في ناس اجانب، انت كيف
بحكي لهم لازم تحافظوا على حالكم، لانه اذا اجت عليكم الكورونا هتكون اشي صعب للغاية.
اوكي تمام، شكرا ليان. ليان 9 years old and she been quarantined and isolated with her family 14 days, and she just give you advice. Be careful. Corona is very tough, so everyone needs to be taking the right measures and look after themselves. So that's her message.
Thank you. I think that's it really, Mohamed, but I want to thank the children who've taken part and particularly echo Kosai's phrase, which was how the children find it hard to embrace life. I think that's a beautiful phrase. Yeah. And I hope that the work that we do, I say we, I mean they, I mean all the people out there supported by the therapy team here, are helping them to embrace life more. Thank you, Gwyn, for putting the fundraising link up in the chat. Please fund us so that we can keep things going. We've got another talk to Gaza, which we are planning for the 13th of February. We can send you information about that. And we hope to focus a little bit on the personal histories of families in Gaza and link this into a more general discussion about the history there. And we are hoping to have Professor Avi Shleim take part with us in that talk to Gaza, which is, you know, a real honor, and I'm sure we'll encourage you to attend. Thank you, everybody who has stayed the course with this rather long talk. Let's hope that we can have many more. Thank you very much. If you want to stay on a bit longer and have a little chat with us, you're welcome. But I think we had better say, Mohamed, if you agree, that we officially close the meeting and stop recording it right now.